First of all, thank for this opportunity, GovConnect, to present this session. And with your permission, just let me introduce, I think the panel has been already been introduced, Bhavesh, the Deputy Secretary from Government of Telangana, Arun from Jammu and Kashmir, Director for Industries. Panel is the AI, data and data-driven public services and revolutionizing the citizens' experience. The next, fifth, and to share and exchange the information and experiences, how we can really enable the digitized services to the citizens, and then, how can we really collaborate and co-create the solutions which are really brought in between the different industries or departments, and then between the states. And in fact, I also wanted to pick up a point where Dilip was mentioning, where in Rajasthan, it was from a top-down approach, where it started from, from a far eastern space in Rajasthan to Jaipur. In fact, that's a very good example. And then, and another very important thing is how the human societies are evolving, right? That leads to increased expectations, and that leaves us to handle them. And that's when a very crossroads of the so-called digital transformation, or these kind of solutions or approaches, what are the different technologies and applications which we need to embark to make it enabled to those people. That's where, because when I really box the entire conversation, must to have, need to have, and a wish to have. The days of the digital transformation, it became a must to have. It was a nice to have at one point in time. Now, when it has moved its coordinate from wish to have into a must to have, then what that particular aspect has to be really enable to make it effective. And that's when the latest technologies, we have really seen this kind of automation of our services from into a digitization, and then from digitization into automation or robotic process automation, and from there into bot-based automation. And from there, we have moved into Gen AI. And now the days have come into the agentic way of automation, or rather, artificial intelligence. And I think tomorrow, the general artificial intelligence also is really coming into picture. I mean, this is a very galloping technology transformation which is happening. So what is that which we need to embark, or rather, element which we need to take? There is no straight jacket answer here. There are different enablers, and which fits into where, and depending on the maturity of the each ones. Now, keeping that in mind, just to set the tone, India is at a faster pace of trajectory, which almost the fifth largest economy, just outbeaten UK and closing to Japan, and we are 7+% of the growth rate. And a couple of important aspects, the 1 million bank accounts which we really achieved, and digitization into a bigger way, and internet adoption across. And the aspects like Aadhaar, UPI, DigiLocker, and DigiYatra. So these are the different enablers which the digital transformation has really embarked, and then, how the AI also is getting infused into that. Now, keeping this into context, I would request on the panel member Bhavesh to, to really share. In fact, Telangana is again a sister states. Okay. Yeah, you can speak here. Perfect. So I would like to request Bhavesh to share his strategy and then approach of AI infusion into the digital services in the state of Telangana. Yeah, Bhavesh, thank you.
I have fond memories of Vijayawada because I was posted in Bhadrachalam in 2018-19. So it's like 200 kilometers away from Vijayawada in Telangana, and I used to catch my flight from Vijayawada to Delhi. So happy to be back in Vijayawada again. So generally when I discuss something about AI, I generally try to make it a hands-on kind of exercise. So there are two activities to be done, and if you can kindly do this for me. First is a very simple thing, just to draw a circle anywhere. If you have a pen paper with you, if you have a mobile screen or iPad, just draw a circle. That is the part A of the activity. And part B of the activity is, there is an interesting app called Draw with Google. So if you can type that on Google search, you will get the link, or you can basically scan this QR code and get the link for it, and just try it out. And why I'm basically trying to emphasize these two activities, I'll dwell on it later once I come to that part of my discussion. Now coming to what we are doing in Telangana, in the interest of time, I'll try to compress everything in 5 minutes. One, we have a multi-fold strategy. So we are basically working on 6 to 7 pillars as far as AI strategy is concerned, which is in very close alignment with what Government of India is also doing for its own India AI mission. So part A of our strategy is that we focus on data. So we are one of the few states which has an open data policy, and we have an open data portal also. So if you Google open data Telangana, so you will basically get a link to the portal where we host more than 5,000 data sets. And for India AI mission, I think we are the largest contributor of open source data. Now this data is important because for doing anything in the field of AI, your first fuel or the petrol or the diesel is data only. So unless and until you have a very good, robust, AI ready, high quality data, it's very difficult to basically do anything on top of it. Otherwise, you have this phenomena called GIGO. It's called garbage in and garbage out. So Telugulo chetta lopalki vastadi, chetta baita kuda vastadi. So it's like you input garbage, you get garbage only. So you require high quality data. So we work closely with our ecosystem partners and make sure that for whatever department you require a data set, and we'll be happy to host it and share it with you. Second is aggressively onboarding government use cases in various fields. So we have MOUs with all the leading players in AI. We have MOU with even AWS also. So AWS, Microsoft, Google, all the big players, and also startups who work with us to get onboarded, to do some use cases. For example, while talking to you today, we have a collaboration with IIIT for IIIT Hyderabad for doing one use case in the field of transportation. Third thing is that we promote startups. So we are one of the, you can say, leading state in terms of adopting new technology. So we were one of the few states to have cloud first policy, and since AWS team is here, so we have a very big active collaboration with AWS in terms of hosting our infrastructure. Similarly, we have a wing called Emerging Technology Wing within IT department, and we were one of the first states to basically host AI Summit last year in Hyderabad in the month of September. Now, in terms of promotion of startups, there is an organization called Machine Learning Artificial Technology Hub, which is situated in Hyderabad. We also have an organization called Telangana AI Mission, which takes care of startups which are working in the field of AI and basically promoting them. And a very big part of our engagement is in the field of Telugu language. Now, why Telugu? Because for India to basically move forward, we require these LLMs to be built in our own vernacular language. Now recently, Government of India under MIT department, they had floated a challenge where they had asked for submissions from various stakeholders, research organizations in the field of AI. And we are happy to report that we have submitted 2 proposals to Government of India, and one is specifically for building LLMs in Telugu language. Now once you have cracked that LLM in a particular language, it's easier to basically scale it up to other languages also. Now for example, despite Telugu or Tamil being one of the most widely spoken languages in the world, our digital footprint is very, very less. I think talking about Hindi, being the second or third most widely spoken language, our digital footprint would be less than 10% on the digital landscape. So this is what we need to basically address. So once we have those large language models built in our own vernacular language, we'll be able to reach out to the next 50% or 60% of our population. And the last part is that we have also announced formation of a new AI city within Hyderabad. So the AI city is part of a future city. So Hyderabad, if you know, traditionally had Secunderabad, then we had Cyberabad, and now there is a vision to basically plan a new city. And I think all these stakeholders sitting here are industry partners. If you think that you want to basically work in the field of AI, you want to set up a new center. So we have a very liberal policy of allocation of land in AI city. If you want to basically work with some of the government department or do some use case, POC, pilot in any of the field, you are most welcome to do with us. Now, why talking about, so 2 activities that I mentioned, how many of you drew the circle? And how many of you drew it anti-clockwise? Okay. So if you observe your pattern, you will find that most of you would have drawn your circle anti-clockwise. Am I correct? Okay. Now the data says that if you were to do this experiment in Japan, you will get a reverse result. You will find that there 80% of the people draw circle clockwise. So that is the power of data and the insight that you get from data. Second part is related to that Google Draw. How many of you tried? Okay. And how many of you could get 6 out of 6 correct? So this is one tool that I gave demo to my education department last week, saying that you can basically use that tool for teaching students how to draw, and that's a very good case of using neural network and artificial intelligence in the field of education. Now, why did I introduce that tool? Because there is a limitation on that tool. So there are only 345 images which are present on that tool. Now there is a chance to basically extend that. And now as a part of Telangana government, we are basically hosting it as a grand challenge for all startups to basically come and demonstrate that whether they will be able to build on the Google tool and expand it to, let's say, 2,000 or 3,000 words. And if they are able to do that, we'll help them in getting onboarded in the education department also. So that's the summary of all initiatives that we are doing. Thank you, Digital Connect, for hosting me. And it's been a pleasure again visiting Vijayawada. Thank you so much.
Connect one topic, what the Vikasit Bharat by 2047, which we are really looking at it, is the localization of LLMs. Otherwise, we get struck with the international LLMs which gets created, but doesn't suit to our inclusivity and customization of our data. At the end, the agentic AI, which is a self-healing solutions, might have a different contextual outcomes. I think that's a fantastic one which I can really pick it up from you. Thanks, Bhavesh, for your great insights. Next, I would like to move to Arun. I think I would like to really, first of all, congratulate you the kind of the first mover advantage in introducing AI in the facial recognition in the border checkposts in Jammu Kashmir by your VK Bidri IG in that region. I think that has really reduced the drug peddling and then the identifying the miscreants in that region. In fact, that is a real foolproof, which how India is emerging. So I think I will just leave the floor open to Arun sir to explain us and take us a journey how JKAS is really taking up their journey. Thank you.
Seen on the newspapers and television that Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated a Navyog tunnel which connects the Jammu portion with the Kashmir. It's an all-weather tunnel and the connectivity will be much better. And at the Banihal post itself, Jammu and Kashmir police, they started this AI facial recognition, which would not only help police to nab the miscreants or drug traffickers, but the terrorists as well. Because the high density cameras, high grade cameras, they have been used, and the database of terrorists or anyone associated with militant activities, and it will be easier for them to nab. And probably this is the second portion, and earlier also Jammu and Kashmir police had this AI facial recognition at Thatri, This is just entry point to a district called Kishtwar, and which in turn gets connected to Kashmir. So that is how the AI in nabbing terrorists and militants, Jammu and Kashmir has started with through facial recognition. Having said that, now Jammu and Kashmir, probably one of the few states which has around 1200 digital services which are on an online platform. I think somewhere closer to Maharashtra. One of the very few, inadvertently I call it a state because we are not used to call it UT because no, it's a UT. Probably one of the first areas where have we such number of digital services being provided through a single platform. And as you in the morning session said that in education also, a lot of activities going on in the different ministries. Like you spoke about Diksha in the morning. Diksha app platform is such a platform where it is a single platform where parents, teachers and children, they can have a knowledge sharing on that platform itself, be it daily homework, be it daily lessons, or be it a parent teachers, be it that Diksha has become a one platform where all these three stakeholders of education department can engage with. So that is something where in different ministries, I won't like say Digi Yatra, IRCTC using it in a big way. Kavach in railways using predictive maintenance for preventing direct head-on collisions in railways. So all using of artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, or as Bhavesh just said, LLMs, using LLMs, making it more vernacular. These are the things which are going to make governance more citizen-friendly, efficient, transparent, and at the end of the day, accountable. So all in all, use of technology, particularly AI, in providing services to the citizenry, it is indeed going to be a path-breaking and it will become more easier. Having said that, yes, AI or technology, we need a push for that. We need a slight nudge for that using such kind of technology in the deliverance of public services. But a lot of work has to be done in bridging the digital divide, which is huge. Bigger push for digital device? Yes, a smaller nudge for AI and technology like that, so that every citizen, 140 crore citizens of India, can take the benefit of technology in deliverance of public services. Thank you.
One of the good eye-opener which I could really say is Disha is doing an interaction between the parents and teachers. Can we do a parent-teacher meeting in that? that's something which will really ease out most of our parents and fathers and mothers to really do that. But having a good note there. Now I just move on to Revati Kumar, the CEO, Goa Electronics. Now, another angle which I would like to really drive the entire conversation of digital transformation with AI, it is not alone the software alone really drive the entire actions. It is the machines and the products or the SCADA systems also need to integrate with your apps. Okay? And that's when you get the right data. More than the right data, it is a credible data. It's a credible data. How can the biggest challenge for the entire the database architectures and the data solution providers and then the data generators is data credible? That's when you can be rest assured of all the LLMs which gets written and then the agentic outcomes which come up, we can rely upon. If not, the journey leads to a different road path. And that's when I think I would like to request Revati ma'am to really put a light on how, Goa Electronics and then your insights, how it can be integrated towards across.
Good afternoon, everyone. giving us this opportunity, you know. Such forums bring about two aspects of the nation, I'll say. One are all of the industry experts who drive the whole economy and all of these new inventions happening in our country. And on the other hand, we have the facilitators, the government side. In Goa, basically, we have, of course, now I think all of us are of the opinion that treating AI, ML as the cool thing, we are done with it. And we all have reached a place where we now feel that these technologies are making the impact. They are shown their impact in the actual governance. And acceptance is on the rise. Understanding is on the rise. Nevertheless, in our state itself, we have done one project which I would really like to mention here, which we call the Kosh. That is a data analytics platform where we have got around 40 departments and 140 layers of the departments onto a single source. And we are analyzing it on varied accounts at very minute levels. As you all know, tourism is our major GDP contributor. So any person who has a tourism business, but who is taking a benefit under some scheme where it should not be taken, that level of data matching, understanding, varied data analysis, which has given us a savings already to the tune of 45 crores. So for a small state like ours, if that is the output we get through a data analytics platform, sky's the limit for others. Nevertheless, coming to your point, there are certain learnings that I think we all need to take in this journey. One thing, Bhavesh ji, he said that data sharing, this is something that is so primal in the government sector. We observe sitting on this side only that there is huge resistance. Data is available in silos, and we call it that data is God. And sadly, so we try to keep God within the confinements. We should open the doors, being in the government side, and throw this data open, of course, with all encryptions in place, but throw the data open so that the startups mainly can dabble in it. And that is where the actual projects, the insights for the government will come. Holding on for a long time is not going to be a very positive thing to do for the government. Another important thing when we are taking this journey of AI, as government fraternity, we all need to understand, and as you industry experts need to drive this in the government sector, is that if we do not open up the data and the engines of ours, models are trained on data, nothing bad, but still, data coming in from the US or from China, as we say, this is human intelligence. The human intelligence will be the intelligence of a Chinese or a US citizen. I think we have a lot of civilization, we have a lot of literature, we have a lot to contribute as a country and an identity of its own. So I think it's our primal responsibility as both sides to ensure that we train our data on our data sets. That is our literature, our languages, very encouraging, Telugu is taking off. Konkani also in Goa, we are planning to tie up with Bhashni and do that also for Konkani. So I think these two, and just one input to the industry experts here. You guys drive you all are the champions, you all give us ideas. Believe it or not, most of the times the ideas that are done are taken up from your end and we implement it. Of course, money matters, business matters, but try and keep the citizen at the core, and the ability to make this AI accessible to the last citizen in the country a focus point in every proposal possible. So I think that's what it's all about.
Perfect. Perfect. That. Right. But AI, but the blood of AI is the data. It's a green blood or blue blood or red blood. So that's something which really gives that right outcomes on that. So just moving the same context to Vijaya on how, if at all we have these localizations and huge number of data which government opens up, are we ready? Is the new age solutions of AI, be it agentic or the bot-based one, are we ready to really to pick it up and then serve to the Indian citizens for their better experience? Yeah, Vijay, can you just enlighten us on that?
Thank you, Srini, for a wonderful question. Can transform the citizen service delivery, create a positive citizen impact, improve the efficiencies at all verticals. I would say it is all verticals, it is universal. The usage, the use cases is universal is what I would say. GenAI and agentic AI have become two powerful tools, right? For example, with GenAI, you can look at creating new content, synthesize the information, and of course, multiple insights can be generated. And agentic AI takes it a step further, helping it as a strategic decision-making tool for the public sector leaders and create and enable experience learning also. In fact, if I have to pick up, the examples, I think it takes, a half-day kind of thing, but I would try to concise myself to, 5 minutes because that's the limit that we have. If I pick up health as a vertical, let's say, if we look at Ayushman Bharat digital mission, there are 6 pillars of that. One is, create a health ID to every citizen of the country, to population health register, to creation of the health data lakes, to, running analytics on the top of that, right? That's again one important pillar. And that certainly helps in terms of, when these kind of, pandemics happen in the country. Are we still in a mode where we are reacting to the pandemics? Can we transform ourselves from a reactive mode to a more predictive mode in terms of, rather than reacting to disease, reacting to pandemic, can we get into a mode of, prediction in terms of, where are the hotspots, let's say, to, what can happen and how do we prevent that? And again, picking up another example from the health space, claims adjudication is a very, very big example where, Gen AI can be useful, right? Because, all governments, be it state or central, I'm sure Telangana Arogyasri is powered on the, AWS Cloud One, and they're also trying in this direction at this point of time. But when we look at claims adjudication, there's a lot of fraud. It's a fact that, some fraud can happen there. And, but the intent of the government is to give the benefit to the right beneficiary at the last leg. So can Gen AI be useful in that, space in terms of, putting the pre-qualification criteria in terms of multiple integrations, multiple API integrations across various platforms, because government always have data across multiple platforms to see the benefit it is going, is it to the right beneficiary or not? I think the possibility exists. And if I pick up an example from finance, for example, finance again, you talk about commercial tax, or, if I look at the example of MOUD, let's say, property tax, a lot of tax evasion also happens, right? Which is not good for the country because, end of the day, we as citizens of the country, we all demand services from the country. But are we giving our bit as Indians back to the country? I think that is where, the Gen AI, agentic AI, these kind of tools, when we, create seamless, data lakes and run analytics on the top of that, then 1% to 5%, savings also can mean a lot to the government, and that can further help in terms of, spreading the positive impact that we can create at the last leg. Similarly, if I pick up the sector, education as a sector, let's say, there's a lot that is possible there in terms of, using these technologies in terms of, For example, today's learning is more of, I would say, one-sided learning. Can we make it more interactive, two-sided learning also, and where students probably can also interact with the, teachers. And there could be possibilities where, citizen chatbots or, student chatbots can be created. And these chatbots can be, in terms of, government applications, of course, I'm talking about citizen chatbots. In terms of education, for example, it can be two-sided. One is the internal facing where, employees, because education system in the country today is, a large, deep system. So where a lot of internal facing can also happen, which can help in terms of improving the operational efficiencies there. And on the external side, again, students would have a lot of queries always. So are we giving them the right information at the right point in time? It can be related to admissions, it can be related to what course do I take. So all that, and question paper assessment to subjective assessments to objective assessments to, I see the possibilities humongous, right? And again, agriculture, we all talk about India being an agrarian economy. It's the backbone of the country. But if we look at the, status today, is farming profitable? And how many of you want your next gen to be farmers? If anyone can raise their hands in the audience, how many of you want your kids to be farmers? I don't see a single raised hand. Had this, I'm not saying, money matters, but had this profession been profitable, probably, then maybe we'll also look at, farming as a profession. Why not, right? And can technology help in the direction from a pre-harvesting to post-harvesting? Can analytics be clubbed in terms of what happens next? Can we predict when is it going to, rain, or what is the soil type? And for this soil type, what kind of fertilizers to be used, to what extent it has to be used? If these kind of predictive analytics comes to the farmers at their, fingertips, probably, I won't say that will completely solve the problem. Maybe to the extent of 5% if it can solve the problem. Can this become profitable? I'm sure, India as a agrarian economy again progresses that direction. While the use cases exist, from transport to utilities to smart cities to safe cities to policing, safe policing. I don't want to take too much of time, but my urge is, let's start, let's stop looking at technology as something, which is very apprehensive, something will happen, something is going to happen bad. No. I'm sure security is important. We all understand the importance of cyber security and a responsible AI, ethical AI, it is important. But with a combination of right kind of leaders taking the right decisions and right technologies being used, my confidence is we can travel in that direction. Thank you.
She has rattled almost all 12 case studies in the last 3-4 minutes. I mean, that's the power which we have in understanding how to infuse digital.
No, I got this. So what's under Coven? I think AWS is under Coven. I know. So, I think you'll be happy to hear that. But see, a couple of things, right? Somebody said this in one of the last group conversations that I had. The beauty of digital public infrastructure today, if you look at them, while they're large-scale applications, they're trying to solve an individual problem, right? Coven, I think it's a chance of time and history, right? Because of the pandemic and the whole thing. And a need arose, and we're trying to solve that single problem. The government was trying to solve that single problem, and we happened to be at the right time, at the right place, and we were very privileged and lucky to be there and having delivered it on time. But if you look at the core essence of the app, the reason why that is successful and why today we confidently talk about several DPIs is there are 5 or 6 factors to consider, right? I'm not talking on the political aspects, right? Obviously, there is a political side to it. If not for an emergency, I don't think you would have seen a COVID app. Every state or probably group of states would have their own vaccination app. And that's how vaccination was done before. And I'm pretty sure if not for that particular time period and particular emergency, it would have been like that as well. And I think in between there were cases where some states came up with their own RFPs, but they had to take it back because they realized it's not practical. But coming back to the point which you were highlighting, the 5 or 6 things I think that brought it together, what's underneath the hood is, one is the, which gets ignored because you give more focus to technology, but you have to remember, technology is just an enabler, right? At the core of it is the use case. Who is it serving? What is the purpose? And I think you hear this over and over again in this panel talking about, at the end, it has to serve the citizen, right? Serve the people. Even with AI, I think that's a very important factor. It can do a lot of magic, but is the magic at the end of the day serving every citizen, serving the human, right? So that's the key. So the first is that it's a specific use case to solve a specific problem, which is serving, the entire population of India, right? That being pointed. And if you look at it, the second point is, while technology is an enabler, COVID got some focus, but COVID did not, rightly so, get as much focus as the entire process and the system did, right? If not for the process and the system and the vaccine itself, where was COVID? It wouldn't have been successful, right? So, you go back to the basic essence of any technology enablement, policy, right? The government came out with a clear policy to be able to serve this. From the policy came the process, and then came the technology enablement. The fundamentals haven't really changed. At the end of the day, wherever we're using the technology enablement, it's to serve a policy. The policy is to serve a citizen, right? So that's the second piece. The third piece is obviously thinking of scale, right? And I think even at that time, we were pretty sure a platform like AWS or a hyperscaler can serve, rather than using some of the existing public infrastructure within India at that time. That would have taken much more longer for most obvious reasons. I think now that situation has changed, but at that point, starting with infrastructure, starting with the application, starting with the thought of the integrations. If you look at the core engine of COVID, it had more than 56 integrations, from your SMSs to all the different things that came together. There were times when people, in newspaper, you would see COVID was down. It's actually not the core application that was down. The SMS gateway was flooded, or the one other gateway was flooded. The integrations failed, and that's what you would see. By the way, you see this in private organizations very well. They blame application. When something is not working, they'll say, Oracle is not working, MongoDB is not working, or something else not working. It's not actually the technology that is failing, right? It's one of those integration points or something else is failing, you end up blaming the thing. So, but the vision of thinking it at that scale, at that population scale, and the enablement of that scale on the platform, right? Fourth is that the division of the phases. If you remember, in the first phase, it wasn't open to the public. It was specific for the enablers of the platform. Okay, so there was a lot of conversation about data, right? We struggled with getting the right ID for a citizen. We looked at voter ID, we looked at other, how do you, because we don't want somebody to come and start entering their information. You have so many databases, right? How do you look at it? Even 2 days ago, I was in Delhi talking to one of the secretaries, and the thing came up, today you have 5 or 6 major IDs. You have Aadhaar ID, you have a voter ID, you have a PAN card, you have your driver's license, the ration card, people who have passports have passport, right? And now you're talking about a health ID, you're talking about an education APAR ID, right? So, at some point we'll also talk about aggregating them and saying, how do we consolidate this, right? But, so coming back to the point, it's the data being that enabler and also dividing that into phases. It's first, how do you give that access to the block level enabler to be able to serve his block, his or her block, right? Rather than a central top, it's a federated model, right? So doing some of the homework in the short period of time, getting it right, thinking of the users and saying these users need this enablement for which you don't need public access, we will make this happen and then we'll open it for the public, right? So thinking at every stage is like core aspects of things. So primarily start thinking from a user's perspective. It is the citizen, but the citizen is playing a different role, right? A block level officer to the health minister, they're also citizens, but they're also playing a different role, administrative role, right? And then on the other side is thinking about the scale and how do you stitch all of this together. And today, by the way, if you look at any DPI, that is true, digital public infrastructure, right? Whether it's video analytics, right? Whether it's education, whether it's health, whether it's analytics for tourists, to help there, to all of this, if you look at it, to a large extent, the concepts are not that different. The scale is different, the use case is different.
Industries in any economy where the integration should be so large. One is space tech, oil and gas, of course digital, the government and the different departments integration. I think, you know, this is a marvelous job. First of all, good job there, I should really say that. And another very important is the deployment. I mean, that's something, a very it comes out of experience. I mean, right? I mean, so how to be deployed to make that particular program successful, of course, someone has visualized it. So moving on to how we made the entire citizens' life happy, just like any other organization, is a great place to work. Can we really make citizens a great place to live? It's one step beyond experiences to the citizens. So I just like to, you know, move the angle to Dr. Shafqat Khan. I was a very tenured and had been in that advisor position for a good amount of time. Would like to really hear from you. What are the different initiatives from a digital transformation standpoint in health sector or else in other area? And could you see the potential of AI infusion into that, and that will really enhance that experiences with the J&K citizens? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I would dwell upon two main topics and subjects which enshrine the entire happiness, what you said, and the happiness index of cities and people. They set an agenda for them. The first is the smart city projects mission for enabling first to make our cities smart, and then the digital initiatives primarily, which are like artificial intelligence, machine learning, which are a supportive tool for enabling us to make decisions, fast decisions, and the machines may make decisions for us, the robotics, the other means where our lives will become simpler, and net result would be happier lives, you know, and that should be the crux of every government initiative as to how to bring in an element of happiness into the lives of people. It is not only to make systems fast, but the end result should invariably be to make citizens happy. As I said about digital interventions, healthcare has the largest digital intervention in place, that is the Ayushman Bharat digital mission, which envisages to assign a digital ID to all the citizens of the country. And that ID will help to be a repository of information, health information for all the citizens, whether they go to a government hospitals or to a private setup or any laboratory or a single doctor clinic. be in the government or the private sector. But having said that, it is an uphill task to have a unified health interface wherein the HMIS of both the government and the private sector is in unison, is talking to each other, and is user-friendly for the doctors, for the healthcare professionals. So there are these small challenges. But when I take this conversation forward into the AI domain, I think the foremost intervention of AI would, like Dilip said, it was the COVID app, for example, during the COVID times. But COVID has changed a lot in our lives, which we don't see when we look at it. But if you look at it in depth, COVID was a game changer for our lives, and that too, healthcare. Post-COVID, you have to know that there have been a lot of changes in your mental health behavior. There has been a lot of anxiety, depression, lot of other related issues which are related to your mental health. There are health issues about obesity, and very rightly, Honorable Prime Minister has launched the anti-obesity program across the country, because now obesity has become a problem post-COVID. The food and the nutrition we eat, most of us, we discuss, I'm eating oats, I'm eating this, I'm eating that, but we don't know actually the content of the calories, the content of its origin, how much good hygiene, good sanitation has come into making of those foods, and what food you require at what time. I'm sure the mental health is also compromised across the nation to a very large extent post-COVID. And you may not want to acknowledge, but if you look holistically, if there are 100 people sitting in this room right now, I'm sure a large number of people, a good majority, must have a simple disorder, that is sleep disorder. And sleep disorder is where the entire problem sets in. And it's a chain reaction which then follows A, B, C, D, and Z. So I understand that artificial intelligence initiatives at the surface of it are going to help make ease of living for people, ease of doing business in offices. Government to government, government to citizen services are going to be easy. And then at the deeper level, they are going to enhance the quality of life. They are going to enhance the productivity. They are going to enhance the other, indicators, daily indicators of life. You will be surprised that our total fertility ratio, replacement ratio is 2.1, and we are already below it. So if you see 2050, our population is going to fall drastically, which is already a very huge challenge, which needs to be addressed. So having said that, I would understand that AI, which everybody, it's a talk of the town, everybody talks about AI, whether it's in a hall, a room, a school, a college, or in the aeroplane. But I think AI is going to be a game changer for, if I speak in my domain practically right now, healthcare. Healthcare is going to be guided by artificial intelligence. It's going to change the entire route of, how healthcare is going to look like in our country. For example, AI is going to make prescription audits. There's a lot of over-prescription happening in our country. Medicines are available just outside your house. There are so many pharmacies, and anybody can buy any medicine. And that is very frivolous. I have seen people, when they have a common cold, they talk to me and they say they are taking antibiotics, they are taking Ciplox, they are taking Augmentin, which is not meant to be taken just for a common cold. So I think, as I understand it from the public health perspective, that artificial intelligence is going to enable people to find out what is best for them, maybe through chatbots, maybe through interactive sessions, or maybe primarily through Google, what is going to is happening right now. Google is the best doctor at everybody's, convenience right now. Just ask Google anything, and Google is telling you, rocket science about medicine. But I think more structured layers of artificial intelligence, machine learning processes, where a lot of data is going in our country, will help enhance the level of medical care, the approach towards medical care, the various layers which need to be, number one, rectified, put to account, and made accountable. I think the need of our would be to produce good data. Also, when I'm talking this thing about AI, our great deficiency is good quality data on the ground. So I think if good quality data is produced and healthcare is put through these processes of artificial intelligence, machine learning processes, and this metadata is utilized in a larger perspective, there is a win-win situation for this country, and we are already the leaders. I think we will be the top-notch in AI and AI-enabled process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That people, but I was been hinted that we are running late. But a couple of points which I really want to do a closing comments. A good 6-pillar strategy which Telangana government is really picking it up, okay, and education with the Disha program which is really brought in, okay, and ma'am, you said how the data has to be exposed to make our LLMs work for ourselves, for India, okay, because they are our LLMs and our AI, and then subsequently I see the integration of HMIs to make the better standards of quality of living, and then I could really see, Dilip, I think the use cases are very much essential. I think these are the good takeaway points from this session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for patience hearing. I just close. Thank you.